will. Yes. Welcome to the postgame. Yes. Welcome to postgame. Sorry, when you sit here and you do this, people don't necessarily know that you're going live. That was my guy Alex Bussey from 247 wanted to have a beer in Dallas, and I told him yes, indeed. Iowa State wins it, kind of convincingly over Marquette tonight. Kind of not. We'll talk about it all. The final score was 81-70. I want to thank all of our sponsors. Our presenting sponsor of postgame all season long are my friends over at Channel C. Thank you to Channel C and all their great brands over the Bay for supporting us here on Cyclone Fanatic. They will be doing men's and women's pre- and post-game for us all season long. Also, my friends at Keen Project Solutions. Remember them, and you can go to thinkdifferentthinkkeen.com. They're hiring engineers and project managers who want to do more than work, want to make a difference, be a part of a team that values dedication and turns experience into impactful solutions. Thinkdifferentthinkkeen.com. Also, New Year's resolutions coming around. Remember my friends Chase and Clay Natuzal with Raymond James for all of your financial needs. They have offices in Ankeny, Carroll, and by appointment in Ames. And Iowa State wins it tonight. It was a very runny game in Hilton Coliseum where Iowa State got up. Let's see what the biggest lead was. I want to say it was 14, maybe 13, 14 at one point in the first half. Marquette comes all the way back and ties it in the second half. However, they did not ever take the lead on Iowa State in the second half. Iowa State led for 35 minutes and 10 seconds in this basketball game, and let's talk about it. Keyshawn Gilbert leads the way, 24 points for the Cyclones. He outshined Cam Jones. That's really going to be a talking point after this game, because that was the talker going into it. Marquette's stud guard, Cam Jones, one of the best guards in the country, goes 6 of 21 tonight in Hilton Coliseum. He almost had a triple-double. He had 14 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. But it took him 21 shots to get those 14 points. That is good defense by Iowa State. Really mixed it up there. Gilbert was on him. Lipsey was on him. Saw Heisey on him a little bit. Can I start right there with Nate Heisey? 21 minutes tonight for Iowa State. So when Marquette comes back and they tie this basketball game up, Marquette's on a 10-0 run, and it looks like the Eagles are, potentially going to win this thing in Hilton Coliseum. TJ Otzelberg calls the timeout, makes a switch, puts Nate Heisey at the top on the Marquette guards, and he did an incredible job of defense. He was unreal. When you look at the numbers, you go, where did it come from? Momcilovic, he only played 17 minutes in this basketball game, but the glory of this Iowa State team is that you can go at it with a couple of different options, right? You have different lineups that you can play. That was not the case last year for Iowa State, especially when Hassan Ward was injured for a good chunk of that season. Momcilovic will get his. We said this after the Auburn game, right? And then he comes out and hits like 7 threes against Colorado. But this was a matchup-driven decision for TJ Otzelberger to go with Heisey primarily in the second half at that spot. It gave you a lot more teeth defensively, and that's what Iowa State needed. Points were pretty easy for Iowa State tonight. Cyclones, what did they end up at? 38.6%. So you didn't have an amazing shooting. Well, wait a minute. That was Marquette. Okay, I thought that seemed low. Iowa State shots 51% tonight. So a pretty good shooting night all around. Only 6 of 15 from 3. That was I want to hear what Ott says in postgame. Was Marquette just making shots, or is Iowa State's perimeter defense poor right now? 11 threes tonight for Marquette, and their number was a lot better early on. They end up going 11 for 31, missed quite a few down the stretch. But that's definitely something Iowa State needs to improve on. I want to take a macro look at all of this, and I thought it was interesting tonight. The number 5 team in the country is at Hilton Coliseum, and Iowa State fans more or less just expected to win this game. Now, I know you were a 6-point favorite, but there wasn't any celebrating after the game. There was never oh, are they going to charge the court? It was almost like a sleepy arena halfway through the first half because it was just kicking these guys' ass is what it felt like. It felt easy in a way. Now Marquette, give them their credit, give them their flowers. They make the comeback, and that was pretty cool for them. Get it tied up. I almost like the fact that they did that from an Iowa State standpoint because I started getting the text messages. Did y'all? I started getting the text message just like Auburn. I even put out a tweet. I said, this feels a lot like the Auburn game. How will they respond? They responded. 10-0 run by Marquette. Otts calls the timeout. Make the defensive adjustments. You go on a 7-0 run of your own. Boom. Hell yeah. I think Heisey, I know Keyshawn led him in scoring. Heisey might be my MVP for Iowa State tonight based on what he did when his team needed it from a defensive standpoint. And again, he's not a sexy player. Like, he's not putting up great, like, gaudy stuff. But Heisey's so smart. He makes the pass before the pass that sets up the three. He's so athletic out there on the wing. He can guard multiple positions. I'm falling in love with him. He's one of my favorite players. He's the dog out there. He's going to win he's going to help win a lot of games for Iowa State tonight. That was an impressive performance by the UNI transfer. Let's talk about some of the other guys. Notes that I took during this game. So listen, I want to talk about Keyshawn Gilbert. He had 20 points with like 18 minutes left in the game. He ends up with 24. I just want to comment on how much better he is right now than he was a year ago at this time. And I talked about this some after he was so good in Maui, but he was so bad around the rim in November of last year, really until about February. He is so strong now. He is so strong. Like, that's an immediate improvement for this basketball team. He also had 7 assists. His assist rate's really high right now. That's a note I had. The other thing, and I'm looking big picture. I look big picture at this stuff. I have a hard time breaking down these particular games and plays, but I'm always looking big picture. The Iowa State's big guys are so much better than they have been the last 2 and 3 years. Like Jefferson, even Chatfield's less skilled, but he's just like the freaking hoss that you bring in when you need to body check somebody. But Jefferson and Jackson are incredibly skilled men with a ton of mass. Jefferson had a move tonight, like a little spin move that he got an and one. 15 points for him tonight. He's 7 of 10. Oh, yeah, 12 rebounds. I didn't even notice that. Double-double for Jefferson. Maybe he's the player of the game. I don't know. I just like giving love to the guys who don't always get the love. And then Jackson, 11 for him, 7 rebounds. It's just, I loved Big Rob energy. Like an amazing transformation he made from year one here to the end. These dudes are so much better than the big guys Iowa State has played with the last couple of years. When you just look at all of them up and down the floor, they have the mass, they have the touch, and they pass the ball really well. Both of those guys passed the ball really well. Jackson didn't shoot free throws well tonight, but he went like 8 of 8 that one game at Maui. It's really encouraging. But again, like the biggest thing I take 2 things away from tonight. I expected Iowa State to win this basketball game. And they did. I love the fact that they can play different looks. That you can win a game as a fist fight and that you can win a game with your offense. And we saw both within one game tonight. It wasn't a pretty defensive game, I don't think, for Iowa State for the first 30 minutes. I think that, the bigs are still having trouble rotating a little bit down there. And that's something that last year's bigs didn't really have a problem with. That'll continue to get better. Iowa State had them in a mismatch, I thought, tonight when it came to just pure size down there, all that good stuff. But I like the multiple looks that you can give. And then the other thing is giving up the lead. Everybody, like, nervous energy in Hilton. Started to get a little weird in here. It was a chippy game. The officiating completely flips. It happens so often in this building. We're in the first 20 minutes. It's a UFC fight. The second 20 minutes, they call everything. We saw that tonight. And they were able to fight through it. So that's a mental test that this team passed. The Auburn game sucked. But it also was like a learning moment. Did you learn from it? They did. They showed that tonight. Now, it helps when you're at Hilton Coliseum and Marquette's not as good as Auburn. But nonetheless, a mentally weaker team could have folded in that moment, and in this particular team bowed up. So, yeah, look at the rest of the box score here. Lipsy, I actually thought Lipsy was really good defensively tonight. He only scored a point. He had 4 assists, but 29 minutes for Taman. He wouldn't be out there without his value. I always love seeing, too, when Kurt Jones comes out and hits his first shot. Comes right out, bullseye, right in the left wing. Kurt had 14 for Iowa State. The other, I guess the other note I had, but it didn't look that bad on the box score. It felt like Iowa State was giving up a lot of offensive rebounds tonight. They gave up 16, but only 11 second chance points. That's something I can live with. Fascinating in this sense because both of these teams were in the top 15 in the country coming in on turnovers forced. And both of these teams really like to initiate offense in the transition. That's when they're at their best. And that was not really a thing tonight. There were a lot more turnovers in the last 5-6 minutes of this game than there were the rest of the game combined. But only 15 points off of turnovers. Iowa State doubled them up 10-5, but it wasn't much of a factor in this basketball game. So it's a good win. I like the fact that you win it by double digits too. Like it's not too early to start thinking about March and metrics and all that stuff. And it's certainly a positive when you can win a game by double digits. The metrics like that. It's stupid. Like I don't think it like should be that way, but the computers like it if you win by 10 or 11 compared to 9. So the fact that you can beat a team is highly ranked as Marquette by 11, I would anticipate that one will budge Iowa State's metrics up just a little bit tonight. I'll take a few of your questions. Joey, are we concerned with Lipsy only having 1 point? No, I'm not, because Iowa State scored 80. They also, too, I want to go back and watch it. It felt like Lipsy was on the ball more tonight than he was out in Maui. I felt like it was a little bit more like last year. So I think that I agree a little bit with what Edwin's saying. I think this is a good, intelligent post by Edwin. He says, no, to be clear, Lipsy has not gone backward. His teammates are just that much better scoring around him. He doesn't have to score like he has the last couple of teams. You're right. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. Like, I thought that might have been Lipsy's best game. He looked healthier. He looked like I think that there was all that talk about, like, what was Jay Billis talking about? Is he hurt? I mean, I think Taman's, like, always kind of injured. I think he's always kind of hurt. I guess there's a difference between hurt and injured. I don't know. Ever since I've watched Taman, he looks like he's playing hurt. You know, so, like, I don't think that's ever going to go away, but I think he's been a little bit out of shape for him, like, because he didn't play a lot this summer. I think it's just taken him a little bit longer to get back into game shape. Yeah, I'm not concerned about it at all. I think that he's going to be just fine. That's all I got for you guys. Good win. Bloom and I are going to so we do have a busy day coming up on Thursday. Dan McCarney is going to join Bloom and I for a preview for the Big 12 championship game. We are recording that at 11. We will post it shortly after it, okay? So look forward to that. We're going to have it for all of your drives and flights to Dallas, all that good stuff. So you guys can check that out. Jeff Woody and Leah Nelson will have a pregame podcast for you as well. But again, we're going to have a special Williams and Bloom podcast that will preview the Big 12 championship game coming up tomorrow. And then we're all flying to Dallas or driving to Dallas on Friday in Dallas, 4 o'clock, or whenever you can get there. We'll be at Texas Live, hanging out, Cyclone Fanatic get together with our friends from the Dallas-Fort Worth Cyclone Club, and we will be there with our friends from the We Will Collective raising money. So come and hang out with us. I'd love to shake your hand, take a picture, do whatever we can do. We love you, the Cyclone community, and we appreciate you all very, very much. I want to thank our presenting sponsor, Channel Seed, for bringing us tonight's postgame. As always, Iowa State wins it over Marquette, 81-70. Again, a weird game. It was 2 top 10 teams in Hilton. The atmosphere was great, but it was like everybody just showed up expecting to win. Incredible how far everything has come. Appreciate y'all. Like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll be back with your Williams and Bloom preview pod coming up on Thursday. Later.